Hello. Hi, Cyber family. How are you? I hope all is well. Today, as in other days, I am trying to pull together interesting people who can help you with some of the many challenges that we all face. So today, we have best-selling author and speaker, Ran Toby. He's going to tell you all about himself, so I don't need to say too much. But our focus this month is around mental health. October every year consists of a mental health campaign. And we know that mental health is certainly a challenge for so many families, so many people. I urge you in prior videos, I urge you today that if you need care, if you need professional care, please seek it. Maybe the first person you ask won't necessarily be able to help you, but keep asking, keep seeking. Mental health prevents us from having good, solid relationships, maybe limits our job opportunities, right? Limits you being able to work consistently. And more than anything, interferes with your ability to live your fullest life. And that's what this channel is all about trying to live your fullest life. So we look at it from different angles, right? That's what we're called to do. To be the best person you can be will mean looking at your life from many different angles. Last month, we talked about gratitude, the spirit of gratitude. This month is mental health, taking care of your mental health. You go to the gym, you work out. Well, don't forget about taking care of your mental health. Do something special for you all the time to give you that peace that you need. All right, we're going to go look for Mr. Ran Toby right now. I know he's lingering somewhere about. Who do we have? Oh, of course, we have my number one fan. Sarah Noor is like a sister now. Thank you, Sarah. I love you. Sarah from Pakistan. Everybody knows she's from Pakistan, right? Oh, Sarah, thank you. You're the best. Please leave comments and be prepared to ask some questions of Ran. He's got a fascinating story. So let me go find this man. I know he's here somewhere. And there he is.
Good morning.
All right. Is he looking together or what? I'm feeling a little like I'm slacking over here.
Not at all. You look fine.
Ran, thank you so much for joining us. During our talk this morning, I want you to, of course, tell people a little bit about your book. Whenever you want, you can bring it up. But I guess my first question needs to be, who do you want to tell my cyber family you are? Who are you?
Wow. An imperfect person trying to do better. But on a more professional note, I'm a native New Yorker now in Burlington, New Jersey. My background is primarily sales and marketing for over the last 20 years. Okay. And currently, I am an entrepreneur where I have two organizations, Breakfast with Our Boys, as well as the Magnificent Men Mentoring Group. And it's such an honor and pleasure to be here with you. I appreciate the opportunity.
Oh, no, it's my pleasure. Mentoring. You have a mentoring group, and it's called Breakfast with Our Boys. So you target boys, young men.
Breakfast with Our Boys, we target just the youth, age 12 to 18. And what it is, it's a 2-hour conversation with young men over breakfast. And that's held every 2 months at a restaurant located out here in Burlington. Of course, with COVID-19, we had to put it on hold temporarily.
Oh, of course. Yeah. So, Ran, I have read a little bit about your life, and we're just going to get right to it. Everyone knows that we're talking about mental health this month.
Yes.
And you have also this element of homelessness. So, talk to us a little bit about these powerful events in your life that involved mental health and homelessness.
Absolutely. Well, as you know, and our audience may not, I'm a co-author of the best-selling book, Suited for Success. And it's 25 stories from 25 men of color talking about what we faced and how we overcame it. So for me, my personal pain, because I believe every human being has theirs, was my mother suffering from mental illness very early on in my life. And it had a very drastic effect. And during that period, we also were homeless as well.
Oh, okay. So, about what age did you become homeless? Did that affect your ability to go to school? Tell us, just develop that a little bit more for me.
Absolutely. Like in the story, my brother and I had come home from work. I mean, excuse me, from work, from school, and we saw an orange note on our door. And at the time, we didn't know what it was, but we knew it wasn't good because our keys didn't open the door. So we were locked out. So we found out we were in elementary school at that time. And then eventually our mother and grandmother came home to get us and informed us what was going on.
Oh, okay. So then where did you all go from there?
Well, initially she had taken some things out. They had fallen behind on the rent. My mother was diagnosed as paranoid schizophrenic, which you may not know about, is almost like hallucinations and many other things that go along with it. So at that time, we ended up just packing everything out we had, and at first we went to stay in a hotel.
Oh. Well, how did you, like, if you can recall, how did you feel? You're a kid, of course, you're sort of helpless. You just kind of follow along whatever your parents or your mom in this case is doing. But can you recall how you felt?
That's a great question. Initially I thought about, I can't get to my comic books and my toys. That was the
Yeah.
biggest thing. They're locked behind this door.
Yeah.
But the way our mother and grandmother loved us, they kind of shielded us by almost making it a game, if that makes sense. So they didn't go right into what had happened. They just immediately tried to do things to keep us occupied. They had to go to the store and bring food back and have sandwiches sitting on the bed and make jokes, and we played games. We'd take a walk to the store and go back to the hotel. And we were so engaged, we really didn't know at the time exactly what was going on.
All right. So if you don't mind, I'd like to talk a little bit more about this schizophrenia. At what point did you see this in your mother?
Well, she had taken us to an office in downtown Manhattan when we were about 9, I remember. And I remember screaming and yelling at her boss and throwing things. But at the time, we were just confused. And some of the security took us out of that room. So we are kind of shielded from the conversation. But she was having an episode. And at that time, we just were just confused and a little bit scared, but didn't know what was going on.
Oh, and but at what point did you say my mother is really different from other mothers? You may
Wow.
not have had that language, schizophrenia, but
You're
what?
absolutely right. At the time, there was no term for it. We knew she was just different. I really think it didn't really take effect till we were like 12 or 13 years of age, because what happened was we stayed in the hotel for a while, and after running out of money, she packed all our bags. We kind of went downtown Brooklyn to the train station, and she kind of put our stuff there at Atlantic Station. They went to get food and fed us. I don't think we really totally understood until we went to visit her in Creedmoor, a mental institution in Queens, and I think that's something that really struck us hard.
Oh, yeah, of course, of course. So when she was in the mental institution, who was caring for you and your brother?
At that time, we moved in with our aunt. My grandmother, who was there most of our early years, was there supporting us. So we would go to visit her occasionally. And what stayed with me was that smell of the hospital. And to this day, I really don't like going to hospitals, because if I get that smell or smell it, I feel ill, excuse me. And that's because, seeing her strapped into a chair, hearing her talk incoherently, them trying to force medicine onto her, it had a very drastic effect, but we were blessed not to walk around scarred and really, affect us even much worse.
I was talking to someone recently, Ran, and they were telling me how um, because their mother suffered from mental illness, and they never they couldn't connect, from very young. They knew their mother was very different from other mothers, and so the love was missing. They didn't get the nurturing because the mother was off in a distant place. So they didn't have a grandmother. So were there people in your life, aunt, grandmother, that sort of gave you what was missing, that nurturing that you normally get from a mother?
Absolutely. My grand aunt, which was my grandmother's sister, really jumped in and helped out a great deal. And you brought up a great point. At that time, you really don't know what's going on. You know your parent is different, But it's not until you get older and realize that they didn't take you to certain places or you didn't have those conversations that something serious was going on.
Yeah, yeah, that had to be tough. All right, so let's go back now to the homelessness. And I think you told me that you ended up living in the subway. Did I get that right?
Yeah, we had all of our bags there. I still remember going to the station and we're sitting there with all our bags on the chair. But one thing I'll always remember, and I may have put it in the book and I can't remember right now, but a gentleman came over, an older Caucasian gentleman, because my brother and I are wearing cowboy hats. And he asked if we could take a picture, if he could take a picture of us. And I had my straw hat with the red badge, and my brother had the blue hat with the blue badge. And believe it or not, I held that picture up until last year. It's over 40 years old. And I got to find that photo. But that was a moment in time that I will never forget, but I'm also very grateful for.
How can you be grateful for living in the subway?
Absolutely. I believe part of my makeup as a person that God gave me is to realize that everything is temporary. Everything could be taken from you, and not to take the small things for granted.
Oh, I mean, you just painted a picture for me. I'm imagining this family and these kids, and oh my God, I'm gonna get myself all like worked up. Okay, so let's shift and talk about paths to resilience. So
Yes.
clearly, you took the power away from all those tragic events. Um, and you did some great things with it. You transformed that, right? Because clearly that all of that is so powerful and could have left you in a place where you were suffering from depression yourself, right?
Yes, that's correct.
But you harnessed the power from it, and you've gone on to do some other things. So help us understand how we can do this if we're suffering from mental health or the effects of having someone close to us, that with these kinds of challenges.
Let me tell you what I look at as resilience being. It is the ability to recover from something very difficult very quickly. And so a lot of times you run across people that complain constantly about the same thing over and over again. It's like you get a ticket, the ticket's done, keep it moving. So one of the things I think that really was valuable to us was learning to keep things in perspective. Life is a roller coaster and it constantly changes. You either can fight the gravity or go for the ride and prepare for those ups and downs. And then you have to also take time for solitude. For me, as I got older, prayer, meditation, and having a great circle around you makes a tremendous difference. And realizing that nothing is insurmountable. We often find an issue and think, man, it's never going to change. It's too late. You cannot settle for negativity. It happened, man, just keep it moving because nobody cares.
Okay, so hold up right there. Ran, you mentioned prayer and support. Where can we go for this type of support? I hear people talking about support all the time, but that's just a real general word. Where can we find the support?
Some people have family and friends that you can really trust with the most intimate secrets and stories in your life. Spirituality. Now, that's different for everyone, regardless of your religious belief. But I've come to understand that there's something bigger than us. And when you tap into yourself, you'll be amazed of how much control you have.
But how do I tap into myself? I mean, that sounds really cute and cliche-ish, but what do my cyber family needs to know specifically? How do I tap into myself?
The first thing is feed your mind like you feed your body. Everything you put inside of you will give you the information you need. The books that you read, the TV shows that you watch, the documentaries you take in, all these things can make a difference. Reading is one of the greatest things we have. With the internet and Google, there's no excuse for anything. If you're suffering from something, you have an issue, you can go online and find out suicide hotlines. You go out and find about abuse sexually. So these are all tools that are there. You have to be willing just to make that move. And that's the hardest part, getting started.
Yeah, getting started. I need to do a little commercial break here right now. You've given us quite a bit to think about. I think I got to process some of it. Um, Ran, to my cyber family, Ran is giving away a gift. Ran, you want to tell them what you're giving away?
Absolutely. As I said previously, we have an Amazon top-selling book. It's a #1 called Suited for Success. 25 stories from men of color talking about the things we went through, what we learned from failures, and how we utilize that to fuel us to our success. We're going to give away a copy of the book autographed by me, and I can't wait to get that book to their hands, and I hope that they will share it with their family as well as their friends.
Okay, and to get the book, Brand and I were brainstorming, okay, how do we get the book out to people? We're going to randomly choose from people who give us feedback, comments. By the way, if you have any questions for Rand, send them to us now, and you'll have further opportunities to enter comments when this is posted on YouTube as well. And we're just going to randomly choose from there. And I will mail the book to you personally. Rand will give it to me. I will mail it. Go to my website, DeniseHollingsworth.com. DeniseHollingsworth.com. And I'll just put it right here in our chat room. And from there, you can send me your information and the book will be passed on. So we're going to randomly choose.
Very excited about that.
Yes. Just for Success. I know it's probably all backward. Anyway, Suited for Success, Ran Toby. Great anthology. I also, there was one in here that really made me cry. I mean, you know what I mean?
Yes.
It's just such powerful stories of resilience. So anyway, okay, so you've started us on our path to resilience. First, it sounds like understanding and accepting that change is the constant in your life.
Yes.
Right? Okay, so be open-minded in that respect. Secondly, seek support and go to the Lord in prayer. And you've broken down what support looks like for us. Okay, take us to a third step.
Wow, that's pretty good. That's better than what I said. Thank you so much for following up. Also, you have to understand that all of us, including myself, or especially myself, part of it is learning from your mistakes. The thing I find amazing is somebody makes a mistake and then they quit and then they give up. But once you own up to the part you played, and it might be minor, and realize, look, I did it, it was done, now I got to move forward. There's not one successful person in this world that did not face tremendous adversity. And that goes from Elon Musk, from SpaceX, who almost ran out all of his money and they said it wouldn't work when he came up with the cars and helped out, and anybody you can name and think of. So understanding that living in the present once it happens and moving forward makes a huge difference. You cannot look back and think of, oh, I wish and it could have. Affirmations. It happened and now it's time to keep going.
Yeah. There's something about living in that place of regret that is such a waste of time, isn't it?
It is. And there's nothing wrong, Denise, with taking things slowly.
Mm-hmm.
Slow movement is better than none at all.
Yes, slow movement is better than none at all. I'm also thinking right now of your motto that you mentioned a couple of times in the book. Let your situation be your motivation.
Absolutely.
Let your situation be your motivation. So break that down for us a little bit more. I love it.
Absolutely. I look at it as every human being has this golden ticket of pain. I went through some of them recently. So what I mean by that is, if your ex-husband said to you, you needed me, you'll never be anything without me. Your motivation is every time you look in that mirror is to not prove him right, but prove you wrong, that you can't get out of that mess.
Yes.
If you tried out for the basketball team and the coach cut you, go into the gym when you start playing with your friends and start practicing the shot. You may not make it in high school, but you could make it in college. Everything that is negative should be a motivation to take you to that next level. Because they always say you cannot have growth without pain, right? There's no pain without the gain. There's no gain without the pain. So it's important that you take that thing that's negative that's painful and utilize it as your fuel to take you like a rocket wherever you want to go.
Preach. Thank you so much. I personally needed to hear that one today. All right. And was that your fourth step? Because I'm really trying to take notes here. Was that your fourth step?
Yes, it was.
Okay, great. So we got all our steps down. So when I think about not having regret, and this really speaks to me. Sometimes, for some reason, we want to believe that if we had done it a different way, if we had made a left turn instead of the right turn, everything would just be so wonderful and perfect. You don't know that. That's your mind playing games with you. You do not know that. You are where you are at this time and make the best of it. You cannot presume that if you had made that left turn, done this other thing, that somehow it would be all glorious. We don't know that.
I think it's amazing. I look at it like this. You're playing basketball in the gym. And so you want to go to the championship game. But first you have to go to practice. A lot of times you're in the gym working out and God has something down the road. If you were to get there quicker, you would not have made it. If you get there too soon, you may not be prepared because you had to first get your mind, your body, and soul ready in preparation. So think of it as at that time, as you're in the gym, hitting that, as a boxer, hitting that bag.
Yes,
so whatever it is, everything happens the way it's supposed to at the right time.
Oh my God. Thank you. You are just who we needed to talk to today, Mr. Ran Toby. How can people reach you? What's your, your contact information?
Facebook, Instagram, Randall E. Toby. Also, if you want to email me, you can email me at Mr. Toby Speaks, that's TOBY, @gmail.com.
Mr. Toby Speaks. Let's see, at gmail.com?
That's correct.
Okay, at gmail.com. Okay, I think I got it. Mr. Toby Speaks with an S.
That's correct.
Okay, at gmail.com. Okay, I'm entering that. Okay, and Herman Bowles Jr. says, when you go to the gym to work out, you have muscular growth due to weights, which are nothing but resistance.
Well said. He's absolutely right. He gets it.
Yes. If you don't have any resistance, he says, there is no growth. No resistance, no growth. I love that. He also says earlier, doing the same thing and expecting a different result is indeed insanity.
Insanity. You hear it all the time.
Right? If you don't change your mindset, you don't change your own trajectory, then how can you expect something different to happen? Exactly. I love it. Thank you so much for all the comments. And Pat Sherman is saying, I really needed to listen to this today. A week ago, her whole life was turned upside down. So Pat has to come back at it, right? She's got to be resilient. She can lay down and just whine, but where is that going to get her?
Pat's got this. Listen, there's nothing wrong with standing still for a moment because sometimes you have to regroup and get yourself together. But put yourself on a timer because you can't sit there going for but so long, because once you sit down and recharge that battery, it's time to get back in the race.
Yes, it's time to get back in the race and make it happen. No excuses. We cannot disappoint ourselves. That's how I look at it. We're letting ourselves down.
Absolutely.
When we don't get back in that race. And that's what my channel is all about. I want you to be the best you that you can be. So it means paying attention to all of these issues, and these mental health issues they can really, I wanted to say be a barrier, but I'm going to use a stronger word and say they can be an absolute blockade to you living your best life.
And also look at it this way. Every person that's here with us, think about the 10 worst things that's happened in your life. Mm-hmm. Are you still here? Did you make it through?
Yes.
Is ever as bad as you thought it would be. Yes. If I were to tell you some of the stories of the things that I had to deal with, you would wonder, how can I ever smile? And I know many of
Right.
you have faced the same. Those
Yes.
things are happening for a reason, because it's building you up. It's providing you to make better decisions. Because when
Yes,
you
yes.
mess up at one place, when that blessing comes, now you're going to be ready.
Yes, 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 that's right. All right. Well, you've brought a mighty message to us today. Again, that's Suited for Success, a wonderful anthology. And we're going to make sure this free book gets out to someone. You're going to go, I'm going to enter this in the chat now too. Go to my website, DeniseHollingsworth.com. So go in there, enter your information. There we go. Enter your information and we can get the book out to you.
Absolutely.
So much love. Thank you so much. And I'm going to say goodbye to you, but I'm going to do a wrap up. So I don't want my cyber friends to go away yet, but we're going to say goodbye to you. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much for the opportunity. Whoever wins that book, please share it with others. And just remember, everything is temporary, but you have much to do. So hang in there and be blessed. Thank you so much.
Have a great day.
You as well.
That was powerful, right? Thank you so much, for joining me today. I'm hoping that was something that you found value in. Again, that's the goal of my channel, right? And I bring in people to talk with us because they're bringing, perspectives that I can't necessarily offer you because I've not had the experience that they've had. So, yeah, great. Take care of your mental health and follow me on social media, author Denise Hollingsworth. And of course, subscribe to my YouTube channel, author Denise Hollingsworth. Appreciate your support. Love you. Much prayer. Take care.